Well, hey, there we go. How is it going? Let me make sure we're actually live after that fun stuff. Hi, welcome. Thanks so much for being here at Ride the Teacups. Still waiting for my stream to show up on my phone. Ooh, that's a button. Neat. Come on, maybe. Do a quick sound check here. Well, hey, there we go. How is it going? Let me make sure we're actually live after that fun stuff. Hi. Ooh, we got an audio delay. That's cool. Let's fix that audio delay. Still waiting for my stream to show up on my phone. Ooh, that's a button. Neat, maybe. Do a quick sound check here. How about that? Testing. My audio quality. This delay is ridiculous. I'm so sorry about this. OBS is it's been a long time since I've live streamed from this, and a lot of my settings are wrong. It's flatly wrong. So I'm having to redo a few things I wasn't expecting to. In this video, we are going to be talking about Bob Chapek and Bob Iger, the transition, and more importantly, what it means to you and your planning in the parks. This delay is ridiculous. I'm so sorry about this. OBS is it's been a long time since I've live streamed from this. Hey Megan, how's it going? It's flatly wrong. So I'm having to redo a few things I wasn't expecting to. In this video, goodness, my audio delay is just not keeping up with the stream at all, is it? Hey Megan. Oh, I said hi Megan. Cool. Well, I'm going to say hi Megan again because Megan's awesome. Hey everything Disney family, how's it going? Working with a delay issue. My let's see. My microphone is several seconds behind my video. And you know what? We're going to go with it, and I'll just mix it later. Hi! Sorry for the currently mismatched. That'll be gone in a second. You guys are watching Ride the Teacups, and we are talking. I think I mentioned Bob Chapek, Bob Iger, the big transition, and what it means to you. Going over kind of a timeline of events, of things that actually happened over Chapek's tenure, leading to this case. Oh, I'm sorry. You're getting an echo because my phone audio is still on. I was checking my levels. Neat. All right. This live stream is off to a great start. I'm super excited. I am excited that you guys are here, though. Thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Let's jump right in. So, on Sunday night, late on Sunday night, Disney released an announcement that said, Bob Chapek is out. We appreciate his years of service. Bob Iger is back in. He is uniquely situated to guide Disney through these waters. Really interesting. Late night on a Sunday. That is really interesting. For those who aren't watching this week, it is November 20th. Sunday, November 20th is when all of that happened. That has huge ramifications, and we're going to get into everything that we can possibly think of along with an actual timeline. I was actually really attentive when everything started. I want to give some credit where credit is due for starters here, as I tried desperately to find my app. There is an amazing Twitter channel. It is Scott Gustin, and I want to actually bring up his original tweet. Goodness sake, it's way down here now, of the actual breaking news and everything that happened here. Let's see where it starts. There we go. All right, 7:48. There we go. Maybe 7:48. Scott Gustin is reporting on Twitter that Bob Iger is returning to Disney as CEO, and Chapek is out immediately. That is where this news broke. And the reason why I want to give Scott all of the credit in the world is because, I mean, one, that's absolutely wild, just out of left field, and just really crazy. So just to make sure it wasn't a hoax, Scott has never steered us wrong before as far as I can remember. I've only been following him a short time, but I know he's been a source for others for a very long time. But as soon as I saw that, I went and Googled for news, and 0 hits. It was not there. I went and searched YouTube to see if anybody was up or starting a stream or anything. Nothing was there. I searched other areas of Twitter. Nothing. This news does not exist. So you can actually see underneath this original thread, very first comment, Ride the Teacups asking for that source. And I know it's blurry. Come on, man. Anyway, that's me. Right there, asking for a source for any type of confirmation, and man, did they flood in. So cast members and everything started sharing their screenshots of their emails from Bob Iger that had hit, and then the news started coming through. After that, some of them actually just quoted Scott's tweet as their only news source on different news places. So all the credit in the world to Scott Gooston. I believe he's the one that actually broke the story, to my knowledge. Thanks so much. You are awesome, and y'all should be following him. Let me keep up with chat real quick while we get here. Hey, Journey Awaits. Love to have you guys here. Thanks so much for being here. Yeah, and doing a right job. Unfortunately, I have to... Oh, no, David Nicole, I'm so sorry about your dog. That's no fun at all. Really hate to hear that. But let's get back to it. So what I want to do on this video is I want to go through kind of a timeline of events, things that actually happened during Chapek's tenure. And then I want to kind of guess and conjecture of things that may affect your upcoming trip, because that's what we're about here, is helping you plan your Disney Parks trip. Obviously, we're going to point out some of the things that have happened from then until now. Some big things have happened. But let's go through a history starting in 2020. February 2020, Bob Iger steps down. He names Chapek as his hand-picked replacement. And then immediately in March, both parks, Disneyland, Disney World, shut down for COVID. Some of the other parks around the world already had, but that's when the American parks went. In June, Disney announced that Disneyland will reopen on July 17th, just in time for their 65th anniversary. Woohoo! Yay! I mean, we all got excited at the time, but, hindsight is 2020. So, real interesting case with that. Walt Disney World reopened in July of 2020. Disneyland remained closed. As my park, that's kind of a big deal. We get the reservation system. Annual pass holders are allowed 3 reservations at a time. Ticket holders are allowed reservations for however many day tickets that they have. There's no park hopping allowed. That happens in June. The next month, that happens in July. Also in July, California reports a spike in COVID cases, does not allow theme parks to reopen. Here's where we start getting a little bit, things that don't really start going well for Disney. Disney publicly digs at Newsom over that decision to keep the theme parks closed. Hi, Mandy Adams. Nice to see you. Glad that you guys are here. We're going through kind of a timeline of event of things that happened under Chapek's tenure at Disney, mainly as far as the parks are concerned, but we're going to get into movies and film and things here too. In August, Governor Newsom provides a tier-based system for when businesses can reopen. On their tier-based system announcing when businesses can be reopened, theme parks are absent. They're not even on the list. There's some speculation is because Disney has started publicly going after Gavin Newsom, but we don't really know. What we do know is that theme parks are not on the list of places that can reopen. Also in August, Knott's Berry Farm, right next to Disneyland, opens a Taste of Knott's. They are having food. Their rides remain closed, but people can actually get in the park, enjoy some Knott's food, get some of their folks back to work, and get done. Disney has no matching announcement. If you will go back, if you were in that, people were begging Disneyland, just open Main Street, do something, get us through the gates, get us some Disney food. We really need some some recovery from COVID here, because we've been basically locked at home for so long. And there was absolutely nothing. In September of 2020, now remember, the parks have been closed since March. It's been several months at this point. And California has no guidelines for theme parks reopening, and Disney and the state are kind of going publicly at each other a little bit here. The Anaheim mayor, I'm going to mispronounce this name and I apologize, Harry Sidhu, S-I-D-H-U, Sidhu. I apologize if I've really butchered that. He actually says, and I'm quoting, "I'm personally inviting Governor Newsom, who I have praised since day one of this crisis, to come to Anaheim." Who I've publicly oh my gosh, we're here now, right? This is where we are. And my youngest just walked in. What's up, buddy? No, stay right there, please. What's up?
Can you bring me to the playground today?
I would love to bring you to the playground today, but it'll have to wait until my live stream is over because I'm kind of live right now. Hi. Okay.
Happy to.
Cool.
I want to
We playing baseball?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna play all sorts of sports.
All sorts of sports games, huh?
Even tennis.
Oh,
I packed two tennis rackets too.
we're going to play tennis, and we don't have a tennis court, so that'll be fun. Okay. Do you mind if I finish this live stream, and then I'll come down and go with you?
Sure.
Oh, sure.
I'd be happy to.
Well, thanks so much, buddy.
Let's just find an empty street and do it in the street. That'll be the easiest place to play tennis.
That sounds super fun. Do you mind closing the door, though, so that the sound doesn't get out? And I'll be down when the live stream's over, okay? Thanks, buddy. My kid, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go play sports after this stream. Where were we? Sorry, I didn't mean to lose my place. So Anaheim Mayor Sadu actually says that he has praised Governor Newsom since day one of the crisis and begs him to come to Anaheim. That never sat well with me. Let's see. Lori Jean Carlson is here. Welcome. Thanks so much for being here. So glad that you are here. All of this is going to happen here in September. Some of these events are going to be boom, boom, boom. We're September 2020. California finally responds, says we're working with those industries to put out something that's thoughtful to ensure those activities are done responsibly. But doesn't lay out any plans, and they're dodging questions about when reopenings can actually happen. Disney announces 28,000 cast members will be laid off at that point. Let's see, California's guidelines for theme parks are leaked ahead of their announcement. We do find later on these were pretty accurate, very accurate, especially the very obnoxious one. We'll get there in a second. It includes, in order for theme parks to reopen, you have to have less than one new daily case per 100,000 and less than 2% positive test. Bob Iger is on that committee with California. He quits the same day. He is gone. I think that guideline is really interesting because let me open up where's my cursor? There we go. Let me open up my desktop here. I've gone to this website. That sound effect. So I've gone to this website. All I did was I did a Google search for Orange County, California COVID cases per 100,000. This data is accurate as of November 22. I pulled it up just a moment ago. Check this out. This is 57.3 weekly new cases. So divide that by 7 per 100,000. We haven't hit that guideline yet. Today, November 2022. Under the plan that Governor Gavin Newsom pulled out, Disneyland would still be closed today based on those guidelines. That's wild. Anyway, people are not happy about how realistic these guidelines that is. Let that get out a bit. Also worth noting, at this point, while theme parks are looks like they're never going to reopen, museums are allowed to open. Aquariums are allowed to open. Zoos are allowed to open. Let's see. Restaurants are allowed to reopen. Sports venues are allowed to reopen. But theme parks are not. And as we've seen from A Taste of Knots, theme parks are actually perfectly fine. It's once you step on a ride that is the issue. But anyway, just to say, Disney and the state of California are sparring. That's what's happening. On September 4th, so that's some of the stuff that happened in the parks. Films and movies are having some interesting things too. September 4th, Mulan released on Disney Plus because the theaters were still closed. So we have Disney full-length features releasing day and date on the Disney Plus service. It costs you an extra $30 on top of your Disney Plus subscription, and you can watch the Disney films at home. So Disney movies are starting to come back. They're still kind of recouping their things. That's going to be a really important piece as we move forward as well. Lori Jean Carlson says, Josh Nelson, they lost. Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry about that. We're still talking about the poor dog. That's so sad. Anyway, the release of movies, that's going to continue over time with Raya and the Last Dragon, with Cruella, with Jungle Cruise, with Black Widow, and again, more on that in a little bit. We are definitely coming back to that, so keep that in the back of your mind. Let's see. In October of 2020, still in like COVID year, October 2020, California announces that small theme parks can open, but large ones can't. We're looking for some logic over why, and most people are coming up blank. Once again, it looks like the optics are that California and Disney are sparring. And then October, remember this name. Remember this name. Write it down just in your brain just for a few minutes here. Peter Rice. We're going to talk about Peter Rice in this video because that is a big deal that directly leads to the events of Chapek's firing. So remember, Peter Rice. Here is Peter Rice. Peter Rice is currently the chairman in October of 2020. Peter Rice is the chairman of Disney's General Entertainment Content, and he's the top TV executive at the company. He was formerly the president of Fox when Bob Iger famously bought most of the entertainment assets from Fox and brought them into Disney. Not everyone was a big fan of that move. It was a very expensive move. Buying out all of the assets from a major competitor is kind of a once-in-a-lifetime deal. I'm not going to argue the merits of it. This video is just going on factually what happened. So Disney bought Fox, and the president of Fox is Disney's top TV guy. Let's see. Chapek shifts Peter Rice's distribution duties to a man called Kareem Daniel. Remember that name too, Kareem Daniel. Peter Rice, Kareem Daniel. You've got a little homework. Just remember those things. Mr. Daniel doesn't have any Hollywood experience, which is really interesting. He came more over from the games division. Chapek originally hired Daniel as an intern around a dozen years previously. And they have worked together in the parks and all kinds of projects at Disney. Mr. Chapek and Mr. Daniel are close. They are confidants. As we move forward, some folks are going to call Mr. Daniel Chapek's right hand. So that's a really big deal. So Peter Rice, Kareem Daniel, more on both of them later. But Mr. Daniel is taking a big chunk of responsibility from Mr. Rice. November of 2020, California Adventure finally opens restaurants and shops on Buena Vista Street. Yay! You can actually get inside of a Disney park and enjoy some food in November of 2020. Now remember, Knott's Berry Farm did this way back in August, and people have been begging for it, and Disney has finally come through. Again, there's going to be a lot of too little, too late in this recap of things that happened under Chapek as well. And then our first real piece of bad news, November 2020, 40-year veteran Imagineer Joe Rohde announces his retirement the following January. That was a big one. Joe Rohde is essentially the man who conjured up. I know that's not the right term. Animal Kingdom, but he led that whole team from the design of the park, what it should be, everything from start to finish. He's the one who led his trips onto different trips around the world to make sure they were properly reflecting culture, working with conservatism as it's actually done, making sure that we have awareness and education here based in the parks. He did not want Animal Kingdom to be a zoo. He wanted it to be a real experience for guests, befitting of Disney. Rohde is highly respected in the Imagineering program, to my knowledge. Just a wealth of knowledge. That is a huge loss. And the initial flinch is, he's been there 40 years. He retired. It was about time. That is perfectly reasonable thought to have. Totally awesome. However, 1 month after his retirement, he's hired by Virgin Galactic as an experience architect. So, ouch. That's how we end that year. What a great way to go. Getting into 2021, January 1st, no more free Magic Bands for Walt Disney World guests. They used to be free for hotel guests. They are now charging you for them on every hotel guest gets charged for Magic Band. That was a lot of words to say that Magic Bands aren't free. 2021, we're going to start the year of things that used to be free at Disney that are no longer free at Disney and get into the value proposition. Let's see, checking the chat again. Love Pugs, thanks so much for being here. Hello to you as well. Thanks so much for hanging out. Let's get back here. Mandy Adams is still doing there. That is great. Let's see. I just want to make sure everybody's caught up. Cool. Awesome. I don't want to miss you guys in the chat. I really appreciate you guys being here, and I want to hear from you too about your opinions on some of these things that have happened. So, light up that box and let me know. But yeah, January 1st, Magic Bands, free Magic Bands, totally gone. Now everything is going to cost. In March, Disney announces they're closing 60 Disney stores in North America. That is a third of all of their locations worldwide. Nearly 40 will close immediately. More on this in a minute. So remember, the Disney stores getting the axe. Big deal. Again, retrospect, we obviously know where this is headed, but yikes, right? In April, Disneyland finally reopens after over a year. That is so awesome. All right, I got to get my coffee going. The reservation system is in place for Disneyland as well. That is also going to be a big deal that we come back to. July 9th. Remember, we had talked about some of the movies coming to Disney Plus because the theaters were closed. Well, July 9th, a lot of the theaters are reopened for business and actually allowing folks to come back. People are starting to do that. Black Widow comes out on July 9th, 2021. It is available in theaters and day one on Disney Plus for that $30 extra charge. That's a big deal because it wasn't supposed to be on Disney Plus. It was supposed to be a theatrical only release. Scarlett Johansson is the star of Black Widow. She has been playing the character for a very long time at this point, and she's actually listed as an executive producer on Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson has a contract that says she gets paid a bonus based off of box office receipts, and that Disney Plus will not get Black Widow on day one. That's a big deal. She is unable to reach a resolution with Disney, so on July 29th, 20 days later, ScarJo sues Disney, saying that it cost her $50 million in bonuses based off of box office returns. If I was expecting a paycheck of $50 million and I did not get it, I would be upset too. Wouldn't really like that. Yeah, everything Disney family agrees that the Scarlett Johansson issue certainly helped, and yeah, we're going to get there too. That's also a really big deal. But here is where things, again, this is under Chapek's leadership. Disney responded to the lawsuit. And here's what they said. This is a quote. "There is no merit whatsoever to this filing. The lawsuit is especially sad and distressing in its callous regard for the horrific and prolonged global effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Disney has fully complied with Ms. Johansson's contract, and furthermore, the release of Black Widow on Disney Plus with Premier Access has significantly enhanced her ability to earn additional compensation on top of the $20 million she has received to date." You don't do that. You don't. I mean, most companies are not going to respond to ongoing litigation and lawsuits. That's just a thing that is going to happen pretty often. But if you do respond, you're not going to put your star of, MCU is arguably Disney's biggest cash cow right now at this point. You're not going to put one of the stars of your big cash cow on blast and actually release her paycheck. They released her paycheck and how much money that she made, and Disney decided, you know what? We've decided she made enough money. And then tried to get the public to go along with that, and many people did. It blew my mind. That was actually the first time that I got really upset at the time. Oh my gosh, that was also the first movie that I came to after COVID and saw in the theaters. But oh my gosh, man, that is not fair. And Miss Johansson did come back and claimed some misogyny was happening. Would that type of response ever hit for a male executive producer star of a movie? Under that, like, we decided that they made enough, and then actually tell you how much they made. Would that ever? Anyway, things are not going well, guys. July. July, back to some parks news. Disney announces that some select Walt Disney Imagineering teams will be moving to Florida. Well, that's great. They've been based in Glendale, California forever, and yeah, they're going to move them to Florida. So objectively, by the numbers, there are objectively some real positives to that. The cost of living in Florida is significantly less than the cost of living in Southern California. The cost of operating business in Florida is cheaper than the cost of business in Southern California, and certainly the cost of office space and everything is there. Plus, obviously, Walt Disney World as a campus has a lot more space than Disney does in Southern California as well. So, objectively, there's some real bonuses. The problem comes in understanding that people are people, and they don't just decide to go up and uproot their entire lives that they have and move across the country. Their kids are in school, their family is around, they have their friends, their circles, all kinds of their livelihoods. So, Bob Chapek is starting to get a reputation as a bean counter, which he's not super thrilled about at the time. But at least it's only some teams that are going to be moving, so that's real exciting. Trying to find my place again here. There we go. August of 2021, the Magic Key system is introduced at Disneyland. We finally get a plan and a way forward for annual passes. Also happening in August, TV content executive Peter Rice. I told you to remember Peter Rice's name. He's the guy who lost kind of half his duties, former president of Fox. His contract is extended for 3 years because he's amazing. They extend his contract for 3 years in August 2021. Continue to remember Mr. Peter Rice's name. Contract is extended for 3 years. September, Walt Disney World annual passes are finally on sale. They had been delayed for an awful long time. And so we're kind of coming back to a little bit of a park normal. It seems to be anyway. In September, Disney closes an additional 57 Disney Store locations, including their outlets, including mine. My last Disney Store went away. I cried many tears. I was quite sad. There's a video about it. Anyway, in September, Disney announces that all Imagineering teams will be moving to Florida. Remember how it was just a few teams? No, now it's all of them. And you have 90 days to decide if you're coming or going. And if you're not going, you're leaving. Yikes. 90 days. Remember all that life uprooting things, stuff that, wasn't on a spreadsheet? 90 days. Figure it out. Good luck. Make your choice. That's going to be important. Make your choice. Let's see. In October, right after that, 14-year Imagineering veteran Kevin Lively announces he's not moving. He is sticking around. Quote from Mr. Lively: "I never thought I'd be stepping away, but sometimes life throws you a curveball." Yes, sure does. Everything Disney Family says Bob Chapek is a bomb. I'm not even getting into the opinions, really. I'm just kind of stating the factual timeline of what happened. Just wait, we're getting there. Oh my gosh. Also in October 2021, super cool, Walt Disney World celebrates the 50th anniversary of the parks by removing Happily Ever After fireworks show and replacing it with a show that has no mention of Walt Disney whatsoever. Neat. October 19th, Genie Plus in individual lightning lanes officially hit Walt Disney World. We are going to get into Genie Plus on those lightning lanes later on some of the changes that we expect Iger to enact. So stay tuned on that. But October 19th, 2021, yay, that's the day it hit. I dropped my phone. That's how I'm keeping track of my chat. October 26th. Imagineers are openly circulating a petition to have Bob Chapek removed. The Imagineers. And they are not keeping it private or secret or under wraps. It is publicly going out. Wow. Wow. December 8th, Genie Plus and individual Lightning Lanes hit Disneyland. And also in December of 2021, noticeably, Disney is sued by Magic Key holders over blackout dates. Oh my gosh, what a big deal that was. Disney sold a whole bunch of annual passes that specifically said no blackout dates, subject to availability. However, Disney did not define what availability actually meant. And since the general public can actually go and make a reservation and your folks with no blackout dates can't, that lawsuit is still ongoing. Started December 2021. Still don't have a resolution to that one yet. 2022, Happy New Year, January 1st. If you were hoping to get a ride from the airport to your hotel room at Disney World, you're paying for it now. The Magical Express is gone. No more. It's toast. See you later. Once again, things that used to be free as part of your Disney package are no longer available to you. So neat. Disney actually cancels its contract with Mears Shuttles. Mears is now operating their service without that Disney branding, at a cost, of course, because they should be paid for the services that they do. But yeah, not free with part of your hotel reservations anymore. February. Okay. Oh my gosh. February of 2022. I didn't know how I wanted to do this, guys. I'm still not totally 100% sure. Things in the political arena start happening. This channel does not get political. So I don't want to hear from you who was right and who was wrong. I don't want to hear from you on which side was the right side. I don't want to hear your political opinions. What I do want to point out is there are several things that happened from politicians that factually occurred. And I don't want to throw conjecture in there. I certainly don't want my opinions in there. I love you guys. I don't want to hear your opinions about it. This channel does not get political. But I think the events that are about to happen here in my timeline directly relate to why Chapek was fired and why it's now. And so it's important to mention what happened. So keep your politics to yourself. Here are some things that happened in history. I hope that's okay. February, Florida announces the Parental Rights and Education Bill. You know this is a different name, most likely. Disney offers no stance or response to the bill. Political left is outraged at the non-stance of Disney against this bill. In March, a month later, Bob Chapek publicly comes out. Goodness sake, I should have chosen different words. Bob Chapek publicly comes out against the bill after the backlash. The political left is outraged at the timing and the lack of aggression in Chapek's statements. The political right is outraged that Disney is standing against it at all. I think that's really noteworthy. It's a pretty rare feat to piss off both sides of the political aisle at the same time with the same statement. I mean, it's almost impressive. So congratulations. With that. One of the reasons why I think this is notable, in addition to what's coming in the timeline next, again, historical reference. Not interested in what side you're on and whether this was right or wrong to do. I don't want to hear any of that. You certainly won't hear my opinions on which side was right, which side was wrong, because I don't want to alienate anybody. Bob Iger publicly spoke out against a 2016 LGBT bill in Georgia and a 2019 abortion bill also in Georgia. He did so immediately as soon as they came to public light, and in his announcement against those bills, he threatened to pull all of Disney's work out of the state of Georgia. Oh my gosh. Georgia. Can you tell I don't like talking politics at all on this channel? He threatened that Disney would stop working in the state if those bills passed. So we have a comparison of of what Bob Iger did versus what Bob Chapek is doing now. That is what's happening. And again, we're not arguing right or wrong. We are discussing we're not discussing the merits of the bill. You are certainly free to do that on your own. I don't want any of that on this channel. Disney does. Here's the thing. Disney does a wonderful job of accepting everybody. Everybody. If you are politically left, Disney welcomes you and has stuff for you. If you are politically right, Disney loves you and has stuff for you. If you are LGBTQI plus in that community, Disney has all kinds of stuff specifically tailored for you. If you are in the religious right part, Disney has stuff specifically tailored for you. If you are anything, Disney loves people and they have stuff for people as part of their offerings and their content and their services. However, Disney as a company they're just politically left. That's where they are. I'm sorry if that's a shock to you. That's not my opinion on the matter. They are. And again, whether that's right or wrong is up to you. We're a Disney channel who loves Disney, so we'll just leave that to you. But just understand that, people, activists, employees, people who Disney actually provides their livelihood, expect the company, whether they agree with it or not, they have a reasonable expectation that Disney's values are left, and that's just factual. So again, when you see the difference of how Bob Iger handled a political situation and the way that Bob Chapek handled a political situation, they were quite different, and Chapek was essentially taken as weak by both the political left and the political right, and that's going to come to a head because in April, right after that, Florida passed a new bill to dissolve Reedy Creek. Reedy Creek is the government, it's a special district. It basically lets Disney be their own government in Florida. And it's been there since Walt Disney himself negotiated for it when Walt Disney World was created. Yikes. Wow. June. So just understand those political things happen. Those are going to come back. That's going to come back to one of the reasons why this timing is notable. Goodness, I'm done. I'm glad we're done with that paragraph because I don't like getting political here on the channel at all. Everything Disney family. No, that's not happening. I'm not even going to repeat it. You can read the chat replay for yourself. No, that's not happening. June 6th, getting away from that, Bob Chapek unexpectedly fires Peter Rice. I've asked you to remember Mr. Rice's name. He's come up a few times. Peter Rice is the former president of Fox who came over, was the top TV guy, had a bunch of his duties stripped away and given to Bob Chapek's right-hand man instead. And then he had his contract extended for 3 years. Remember that? Peter Rice had his contract extended for 3 years. June 6th, Bob Chapek unexpectedly fires Peter Rice. Peter Rice is rumored to be Chapek's replacement when his contract expires in February. He just extended his contract for 3 years. And now he's fired. Right after that firing, oh wait, no, I've got more stuff. Oh my gosh, yes, there's a great article on the Hollywood Reporter that you can check out. They actually said this, and this is a quote from their article. This dismissal took place in a 7-minute meeting Monday evening, according to sources. Chapek told Rice that he was not a fit in the new Disney culture, to which Rice said words to the effect that he thought they were in the midst of building the new Disney culture. He asked in what way he did not fit, and Chapek responded, "Now is not the time." Wow, and then dismissed him. Wow. There were a lot of rumors that behind the scene when Iger was selecting his replacement CEO, that Chapek was a bit cutthroat and kind of eliminated several of his competitors for the role. Here we see this happening again. Peter Rice is expected to be Chapek's replacement. Peter Rice is no longer with the company in a 7-minute meeting with no real reason given. That same month, weeks later, Disney's board of directors announces they have unanimously voted to extend Bob Chapek's contract for 3 years. It wasn't set to expire until February. Here's the quote. Bob is the right leader at the right time for the Walt Disney Company, and the board has full confidence in him and his leadership team, said Susan Arnold, chairman of the board, in a statement. Think about those exact words, knowing what we know now and knowing where we are now. Oh, where did that go? I don't know. Bob is the right leader at the right time for the Walt Disney Company, and the board has full confidence in him and his leadership team. Given weeks after Peter Rice was fired, after the PR nightmare that hit with his response to Florida. I'm reminded of, I don't know if you guys are Game of Thrones fans. I assume some of you are. Tywin Lannister once told everyone, any man who must say, I am the king, is not a king. August 2022, we announced that we're putting ads on Disney+. You can pay more than you're currently paying to get rid of the ads on Disney+. That's never happened before. Also in August, Magic Keys can now be renewed. There were a lot of questions on whether renewals were going to happen. They had paused sales of the Magic Keys during the whole lawsuit debacle that hit, and people didn't know if they could renew. They were getting mixed messages on whether renewals were going to happen or not. We finally have that Disney Keys can be renewed, but two big things have happened. One, the prices are a bit higher for most of the keys, and we now have blackout dates on the highest tier, which previously did not have any blackout dates whatsoever. There are no Magic Keys with no blackout dates anymore. Not available. Wow. October of 2022. Today's date is November 22nd, so this would be 1 month ago. 42-year Imagineering veteran Bob Weiss, I'm mispronouncing that, and I apologize, Mr. Bob, W-E-I-S. Mr. Bob Weiss is leaving the company. That's really notable, obviously, because of his tenure, but also Weiss was the WDI president who had to announce the move to Florida to his entire WDI staff. The folks in the room reportedly, according to sources that I don't know if are reliable or not, but reportedly he was just distraught, disheveled when he had to make that announcement. He was not pleased, and so that hits. Also in October, Genie Plus gets surge pricing. Disney will no longer tell you how much it costs to buy Genie Plus until you are in the park buying Genie Plus. It's not available. That's awesome. And we have fluctuating pricing. That's a big deal. November 8th, big day. Let's see. Back to the chat here before we get to that. Mini Cardi is here. Well done. Thanks so much for being here, Mini Cardi. Really appreciate you. Always like seeing you in the chat as well. November 8th, two big things happen. One, Election Day in America. Remember that. November 8th, Election Day in America. Also November 8th is Disney's Q4 2022 earnings report. The direct-to-consumer division lost $1.47 billion. That's a B. $1.5 billion. Not this year. This quarter. They lost $1.5 billion this quarter. Wow. So I'm just kind of curious, how did that happen? Like, who is the guy in charge of that? Good question. There was a name I asked you to remember a long time ago. Kareem Daniel. Guy who took over half the duties from Peter Rice. Bob Chapek's right hand. Kareem Daniel is the one in charge of this division. $1.5 billion this quarter. Yikes. Wow. November 18th, Friday, November 18th, Bob Iger gets a call asking for his return. November 20th, Bob Iger returns. Chapek is out immediately. Yikes. Wall Street Journal reported that Chapek was due to introduce Sir Elton John on stage in L.A. during their Disney Plus live stream. In the very polite announcement, thanking him for his years of service in navigating the company through unprecedented COVID times, he was not provided the opportunity to comment. November 21st, Bob Iger's very first order of business, immediately fired Mr. Kareem Daniel, Bob Chapek's right hand. In the very polite announcement, thanking him for his years of service to the Disney company, Mr. Daniel is not given the opportunity to comment. Another thing, let me finish up because I'm just about there. Iger's announcement of the organizational changes with Mr. Daniel ends with this, and I want to read this. This is the last paragraph of his announcement to the staff, telling people what had happened. I know change can be unsettling, but it is also necessary and even energizing, and so I ask for your patience as we develop a roadmap for this restructuring. More information will be shared over the coming weeks. Until a new structure is put in place, we will continue to develop a roadmap for... I wanted the same one. Until a new structure is put in place, we will continue to operate under our existing structure. In the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday, and thank you again for all you do. Bob. Let's do that line by line. Line by line. I know change can be unsettling, but it's also necessary and even energizing. Iger understands and validates how his people are feeling. His empathy. And so I ask for your patience as we develop a roadmap for this restructuring. Iger clearly defines exactly what it is that he's working on and doing. More information will be shared over the coming weeks. Iger provides not an exact date, but a realistic timeline of when they can expect to hear more. Man, I work in tech. All of our companies, so many companies have been going through layoffs all the time, and the sitting on the edge of your seat, not knowing what's happening next, is the worst feeling in the world. Bob Iger provides reassurance of what is going to happen, or provides expectation of when information will be available. Don't sit on the edge of your seats. Don't wonder if your next phone call is going to be the phone call. You know exactly when we're going to provide it to you. Until a new structure is put in place, we will continue to operate under our existing structure. We have reassurance. There's a foundation. Don't know if we like the foundation or not, but this is the one that we're using. He provides you reassurance of what is going to happen immediately in this exact moment. In the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. Iger recognizes the holiday weekend and that his staff's personal lives currently have priority over their work lives. He knows that. That's correct, by the way. He is treating people like people. Remember, we talked about the WDI movement from California to Florida and how it's an idea that made sense financially on paper. Bob Iger is going out of his way to recognize that people are people with their own personal lives and things that are important to them. And then he finishes it with saying, and thank you again for all that you do. The more research that I've done over the last couple of days for this specific video, one common complaint about Bob Chapek continues to come up, and that's that he doesn't know or appreciate people's work, individuals' work. And that's, I keep seeing that in different threads from different people. Maybe you have as well. Can you feel the difference in the way that Chapek is handling situations and press and PR issues and his own staff versus the way that in one day Bob Iger has addressed PR situations and directions and communication with his staff? Can you feel that difference? That's absolutely wild. These changes happened after Election Day in the United States. And I think that is incredibly noteworthy, and I do not hear people talking about this specific point. I hate talking politics. So these are just things that factually happened, right? And we're not going to go into right or wrong, but they're things that happened, right? Chapek took a late stand against Florida's bill. Florida swung back, and now we're battling, right? Chapek specifically is battling Ron DeSantis in Florida, and things are clearly falling apart. Things are clearly not going well at the Disney company under Chapek's leadership. Some things are really not. We're seeing issues with talent. We're seeing issues with Disney Plus. We're seeing issues with shows. We're seeing issues with customer satisfaction at their parks. We're seeing these types of things, and they are mounting. However, if the board of directors initiates any type of action against Bob Chapek or anything other than full support of Bob Chapek, then Republican Ron DeSantis gets to take a victory lap that he beat Bob Chapek. That's the optics of how that would look. If they are in a battle and the board sides against Chapek with anything, then Republican Ron DeSantis gets to take a victory lap. And the optics of that is not something that Disney as a politically left organization wants. They are. Try to remember back when that actually happened. Do you remember back? The question was why? Why on earth would the board of directors give full support, a unanimous decision to Bob Chapek? And why are they extending his contract now? I suspect that's the reason why. And I suspect that is why all of these things happened very suddenly, very quickly after Election Day. That's my suspicion. I've held that quietly for a while because we don't get political in here. But now that this has happened, look at the time frame. Whether you are on a political left side or a political right side, look at the timeline. That is, it can't be dismissed out of hand, right? That's absolutely wild to me that's a thing that happened. All right, back to non-politics. Oh, one other really bad thing happened as a result of that. In under Chapek, I don't know if this was because of that or not. I don't have a real handle on the political situation or feeling in Anaheim locally, but Anaheim got a new mayor, a very anti-Disney mayor, based on reports. So, in trying to shield themselves from a Ron DeSantis victory, they may have shot themselves in the foot with an anti-Disney Anaheim mayor. Politically, this has not gone terribly well. All right, no more talking politics whatsoever. Still don't want to give my opinions on any of that. Don't want to hear yours. Just factually with things that happen in the timeline. So there's your series of events. Can you see that this has been culminating since almost the day he took the CEO position? That is wild. That is crazy to me. This channel is all about helping you have a great Disney vacation with your family. So for me, in my perspective, that leads into what changes are going to happen since things are obviously changing immediately. What changes can you expect on your trip? We are out of the realm of things that factually happen and now into some of my own guesswork and yours. I want to hear what you guys are thinking. Excuse me. I think a couple of things will happen in the near future, and I want to set a specific timeline for when that happens. First off, several of you are visiting Disneyland. Some of you for the first time, some of you for the first time in a long time. I have been reached out to by several friends, family, folks at church, other places on the internet. Folks have been asking for help and advice for planning a Disney trip that is coming up, like now for Thanksgiving, later for Christmas, and some right after the New Year. I do not expect immediate changes through New Year's. If you are coming to Disneyland over Thanksgiving weekend, if you are coming to Disneyland at any point in December or even being there for New Year's, I don't expect changes. If there are changes, I will call you and let you know. Carol, I'm talking to you. Yes, you specifically. I will call you if anything happens and keep you up to date, because that's what we do. Obviously, we'll have videos if other things change, so all of our subscribers will have that information as well. But I don't expect anything through the end of the year. And here's a big reason why. A big pain point and thing that people talk about a lot is that reservation system. You have to buy your tickets, then you have to reserve a specific park day in order to be able to go. That's a system a lot of people really hate. And it's just been super frustrating. But here's the thing, guys, and here's my unpopular opinion. The reservation system is a great system 2 days out of the year. Only 2 days. The other 363 days, it's awful and it needs to just go away and not exist anymore. But 2 days of the year, it's super useful looking at how historically those 2 days have gone. And we're within a month and a half of both of them happening. Christmas Day and New Year's at Disney, people will line up. The line will just be like the line for the Disneyland gates almost reaches my house here in Arizona next door. It's ridiculous. Every single year for the last several years, before the reservation system ever happened, before COVID, all that other stuff, people were turned away at the gates because they did not have room, and that happened regularly on those 2 days, Christmas, New Year's. People were actually turned away. That's a horrible. Imagine planning your Disney vacation and paying for your Disney vacation and then being turned away at the gates. Like, you have your ticket, everybody's here, and Disney says, no, you can't come in. Imagine that experience. I can't even do it. Imagine that you're trying to spend like Christmas at Disneyland with your young kids who did not get up at 4 a.m. in order to get in the line in time to get in the morning. Oh my, nightmare. The reservation system fixes the problem on those 2 days. You know, if you are going to Disneyland on Christmas, you can sleep in. I don't mean sleep in, right? Like, I'm up at 5 a.m. ready to go to Disneyland. But, you know, if your kids, you don't have to rush your kids from eating breakfast to getting out the door and getting dressed as fast as humanly possible, right? You can enjoy your Christmas morning and then head over to the park near opening time. And you're going to get in because you have a park reservation. They're not going to turn you away at the gates. Those are the only 2 days of the year where that's reasonable. So since those are here, they're upon us, I don't expect the reservation system to change right before the one time of year when it's actually useful. So the reservation system, I think, is going to stick around. After the new year, I think all bets are off, and we're going to get there. I want to catch up with the chat as well here because I know I'm a little bit behind. Let's see. November 12th this year was 3 years for Disney Plus. Yes, it was. And happy anniversary to Disney Plus. We love Disney Plus. We watch that a lot. Everything Disney Family says, nice job with the video. You put your homework in and it shows A++++++. Wow, that's even better than the check mark that I got on my papers at school. No, I appreciate that. This has been a labor of love that's been kind of going. And again, I want to give a lot of credit of a lot of this. Specifically, I called out the Twitter channel earlier, Scott Gustin. I'm so bad with names, you guys. Scott's Twitter handle, he broke a lot of this, and my phone lights up every couple of minutes with a new tweet from him. So make sure that you go check him out. Mike Beachman, hi Teacups, hi Mike. Love seeing you in the chat as well. Thanks so much for being here. Journey Awaits is stepping out for a moment. Thanks so much for being here, Reggie and Cheryl, or whichever one of you it is, or both. Really love having you guys in the chat also. It doesn't help that Universal has a new park opening and no reservation, says Everything Disney Channel. I feel like you're reading my notes. We're getting there, I promise. So yeah, the reservation system, I don't expect that to change before the end of the new year. I also, I'm sorry. So That's a pain point. You everything Disney Family. You said that it doesn't exist at Universal. Well, it doesn't exist anywhere. It doesn't exist at Universal. It doesn't exist at Six Flags. It doesn't exist at Knott's Berry Farm, at SeaWorld. At I've got a bunch of these listed out that I was trying to look through. Six Flags, Legoland, Dollywood. To my knowledge, none of those places. Cedar Park. To my knowledge, none of those places have reservation systems anywhere. They did initially when COVID hit, and they could only bring in 25% of their normal crowd, but they're gone. Disney is the only one that has it, and it's a huge pain point. If you have a ticket at those parks, you get to walk through the gates. Excuse me, sorry about that. But not at Disney. And because of that pain point and the fact Universal is actually, in Florida, Universal is actually becoming more popular of a destination than Walt Disney World. That has never happened, ever. And they're catching up. I would be shocked if Iger doesn't do something with the reservation system. I think that's going to be a really big deal. Let's see. Oh, the other thing, I'm in a lot of live streamers chats. We watch a lot of live streamers. We love our live streaming friends. Universal Studios will sometimes show up in our live streamers chats, and they interact with the host, and they interact with the rest of us in chat, and it's a joy. It's great. They have such great communication. It's a whole lot of fun to see them in the chat. So yeah, Universal's game is kicked up, man, and they have their new universe that's coming out. They've already got Super Mario World, which is a really big hit. Harry Potter World, of course, is a huge hit. Man, Universal's game is there. Disney needs to do something to stop to stop that slide that they're doing in that competitive space. So here's the thing. I don't necessarily expect what I'm about to say, but man, I wouldn't be surprised. The reservation system that we have been hearing from Disney leadership, former Disney leadership. Yay! I need to have a cheering sound on my. Anyway, the reservation system that Disney keeps saying is the greatest thing and is here to stay. I would not be shocked if it just goes away. I think it's toast. I think that is the pain point that is keeping people away from Disney and towards their competitors. Disney is driving people to their competitors because of the reservation system. I think that's got to change. I think the reservation system just goes away. I think it's gone. I don't think it's going to happen soon. Like I said, I don't think it's going to happen Christmas and New Year's. Those are the 2 days of the year. And I actually see value in those 2 days. But after that, man, all bets are off. I think it's gone. I was trying to collect my thoughts. But I did watch Provost Park Pass video yesterday. Chris Provost kind of went over some of his conjecture. And he had a really interesting idea. Guys, first off, if you're not subbed to Provost Park Pass, what are you doing? Go subscribe, like, right now. Like, I'll open up a new tab. I'll wait a second while you go do that. Go hit their sub button. They are amazing. Absolutely amazing. But Chris Provost, he had an interesting idea yesterday. They suggested the reservation system will only apply to Magic Key holders and annual pass holders, while regular ticket holders won't need to use it. If you have a regular ticket, you can walk through the gate like you can with everybody else. That eliminates the confusion for people who are coming for vacation, while still having some, one hand on the wheel on your expectations of number of guests and things by people who know the system, because you're annual pass holders. You go there often, and you have an expectation of that. I think that's a really interesting solution. I don't know if I'm fully on board with that, but I think it's got some merit. I'm really curious to see how that unfolds. However, Disney is currently being sued over the reservation system and their Magic Keys. So, but I mean, that case is ongoing. We've seen Bob Iger's communication skills on display already in the past and just over the last couple of days. And since I don't expect to see anything till after the new year anyway, I think Iger has some time to chat with his legal teams about realistically how that case is building up. And I think that's going to really inform his decision on what happens with the reservation system. Again, personally, I think it's toast. And that was kind of that. I had kind of wondered if they'd take the Magic Keys, specifically in Disneyland, because this doesn't seem to be an issue in Disney World. Maybe it will be. We'll see. But Magic key holders get additional blackout dates to Magic keys and selling a whole lot less of them to the public. So that you don't need the reservation system because not everyone and their mother has one, right? And so the blackout dates would kind of naturally fix the crowds. We've already seen that in the Magic keys. The highest tier Magic key has blackout dates now. But the longer I think about it, the more I think his idea, Provost's idea, is more realistic, given the number of locals who want a Magic key at Disney. So we will see how that shakes out. But for the immediate time, I don't see a change hitting. Since you can make your park reservations, 120 days out, I think, I would imagine that at least 120 days from today, the reservational system will still be there because people have already done it. I think whatever change Iger makes is going to be announced 120 days in advance. Let's catch up with some of this again here. Some of my chat. Afternoon, Mike. Bring back Magical Express and include it in the price. We're going to get to that too, Dave, about the things coming back. But before I do, let's also talk changes to Genie Plus. I want your opinions. What do you want to see happen on Genie Plus, individual lightning lanes, all those type of things? I want to hear what you have to say about that because I've got my own ideas. And here we go. Before I tackle Genie Plus directly, I want to start by saying that I hope the idea of an individual lightning lane, paying separately just to ride rides, just to ride Radiator Springs Racers, just to ride Flight of Passage, just to ride these generally top e-ticket attractions, paying separately for that on top of Genie Plus, that idea needs to die. I think that needs to go away and just toast. It's confusing. You could buy Genie Plus that gets you access to all of the rides except for the ones that it doesn't. You have to pay a Genie Plus price just for that. Because we went to Disneyland this last February and tried to ride Rise of the Resistance. Made a video about that. I was very grumpy. I'm still not terribly pleased about it. Ultimately, our family of four, we paid the individual Lightning Lane pass to ride Rise of the Resistance. Wasn't for lack of trying. We tried to ride that thing. There's a video, guys. Go watch it. We tried to ride that thing 12, 13 times. And it continued to break down every single time we tried, including rope dropping it twice. And we finally got on. And you know what? That negative experience of, one, having it being broke down so often, and then also paying for essentially an extra day's ticket to ride, for my family to ride an attraction, it made me like the ride less. It changed my experience of the ride trying to get on it. Conversely, we went to Disney World a year ago in April. So I guess, oh my gosh, it's almost 2 years now. That is wild. With a virtual queue system, which we had never used before. We went to Hollywood Studios 3 days. We rode Rise of the Resistance 3 times. No issues. It was stressful. It was so stressful, in fact, that I created a simulator to help you guys practice getting a virtual queue at home, which you can still do today, by the way. RideTheTeacups.com on your mobile device. You can go try to get a virtual queue spot right now and see how the system works, or worked, because I haven't kept it up over the last couple changes. But you can actually practice getting a virtual queue spot right now on the website so that you can do it when it actually comes time. But you can totally do it. We did it 3 out of 3, and I'd never touched the system before. 3 out of 3. It was awesome. Great experience. Great ride. And the virtual queue was free. I think the idea of the individual lightning lanes needs to go away. Iger understands that people are having these miserable experiences in the parks, and I think he needs to stop the bleeding. I think that's kind of like a big focus. I think more of his focus is going to be repairing a lot of community and relationship with film industry, TV, all of those types of talent things. I think that's where a lot of his focus is going to be. $1.5 billion loss in a quarter. But the parks are where people see Disney in person and experience Disney, and I think that he needs to do that. I hope individual Lightning Lane costs are gone. I think that leaves 2 options of what to do with it. Option 1, you can roll that into Genie Plus. You still have the line skipping lane that's there, or you just get rid of it and make everybody wait. that entire time. I actually think both options are feasible. So here is what I like. It's an idea that Disney's actually used several times. You take the cost of something that you used to have and you roll it into their new offering. So, if you have a park most parks have 2 individual lightning lanes right now. And I know that's varied and switched around. But you take the price of those individual lightning lanes and you wrap them into Genie Plus. A lot of people right now are clamoring that Genie Plus is too cheap, as evidenced by the fact that 50% of people have it, which just makes everybody in the regular standby lines stop. Right? We're actually seeing 40 Genie Plus guests get into a line, and then 4 standby guests, and then 40 more Genie Plus, and you're stuck there. And emotionally, it hits you, in addition to obviously just being stuck and not moving at all. A huge pain point. Too many people have it. We know that's an issue. If you take the price of those individual lightning lanes, wrap them up in a Genie Plus, it increases the price, which people are calling for on paper, to people that were going to go and do that anyway. Their price actually stays the same because they were going to buy Genie Plus and the 2 individual lightning lanes per person anyway. So that doesn't actually change. And the regular lines actually begin to move again. And so I think you can roll that up into a package and kill all kinds of birds with one stone. If you do that, I really like that. So if you make Genie Plus cost something like $60 per person per day, some people are calling for higher, but $60 base price, right? At Disneyland, Genie Plus is $20. Each ride is around $20. I know that's going higher. You get rid of the surge pricing crap. You give people an expectation of what this is going to cost ahead of time, and you do that, and you let them buy it in advance, guys. Come on. Oh, you know what? If we're doing a limited number, I don't know if you buy it in advance. I don't know. I don't want to think about this off the top of my head. I want to really have some grounded thoughts. But you make it the $60, and you have people go through and do that, and again, really limit the number of Genie Plus at $60 that you're doing. You want to give people expectations. One of the other things we did, we went to, we usually go to the Blue Bayou at our Disneyland trips. This time we went to, I'm trying to remember, Lamplight Lounge. I always say it wrong. The Lamplight Lounge. And we spent a bunch of money eating at the Lamplight Lounge, more than we would have ever spent for the same experience anywhere else. But we wanted it, and we reserved it, and we knew what it was going to cost, and we had a great experience. If you give people the expectation of what this is going to cost ahead of time, they won't be as upset when they go through and pay it, because it's understood. It's not a surprise to do it. We were surprised to have to pay for the Rise individual lightning lane, and it was awful. Did not enjoy that. So I think that really helps. I think $60 per person, you're pricing out a lot more people than you are today. We mentioned fewer people will buy it, which means those regular lines move faster because there's not as many people in that Genie Plus lane. Goodness sake, I'm just going through my notes, making sure that we did that, making sure we hit everything. While I'm there talking about Genie Plus, let's give Genie Plus that new service, the $60 whatever they want to sell it at. Let's give that to hotel guests. Disney hotel guests as part of their stay. Guys, we're going to make a video on this too, but when you go to Disneyland, at least specifically, you've got basically 3 choices of where it is that you're going to stay. You can stay right across the street at the Good Neighbor hotels. You're going to pay, $200 to $250 a night for, a bed, bathroom, maybe a continental breakfast. And you're going to have like a 5-minute walk to Disney. Your second option is you're going to stay a little further away. Your rooms will be larger. You may have better amenities, and you're going to have a 15-minute walk to Disneyland. Excuse me. For a cheaper price. A third option is you go the Disney route. You pay the Disney tax, and at the Disneyland Hotel, the Grand Californian, your room is going to be $450 to $650 per night. That is huge increase. When we were looking for our Disneyland, I love the Good Neighbors. We looked at Disneyland Grand Californian. We ended up paying $200 a night instead of $650. It's over 3 times the cost. What am I getting for 3 times the cost? I'm getting smaller rooms, not any room closer to the park. In fact, the Disneyland Hotel was farther away So what am I getting for that money? A better pool? Like, yeah, that's kind of neat and all that. But what are you getting for that? Give people the Genie Plus. Etsy. The cost of Genie Plus is a perceived value. The lines are already there. They're already manned. You're already going to have them because you're selling Genie Plus to other people. So that's a service that costs you zero. The cost that you pass on to the consumer is a perceived value. Give it to your Disney guests. You're only giving them 30 minutes of extra park time right now anyway. The magic hour is half an hour. It's not what it used to be. Give people that value. And then later on, wrap it up in the price of the hotel room later as those costs naturally go up anyway. You know you're going to increase prices because they're prices and you're Disney. But do that and just include it. Again, we're making positive changes that can just stop the bleeding, and I think that's an easy win. I think it's an easy win. So, I think we go and do that. And then movies. Let's get back to the chat because I still see it scrolling a little bit here. Magical Express, Lightning Lanes stinks. And I think if they want to control the crowds on rides, have Fast Pass system back for all rides, but charge a higher rate like Universal. Universal has I don't know what they call it, an Express Pass. It costs like $200 per person, and it's basically. It's your front of the line. You get to skip the line. You don't have to make a reservation for it or anything else. You just show them your Express Pass. You skip the line. It's not limited to once per day per ride like Genie Plus is. You just show them your pass. You skip the line, and it's $200 per person. And that's the way that they've priced it. And so just to give you a kind of a comparison of where that's at. And Megan G says hi to Mike, and I say hi to Megan G again. Thanks so much for sticking around. Movies. A couple of changes with movies that I think we're going to see. This one's a big deal. Obviously doesn't affect your trip so much, but while we're talking about changes that Iger is making, I think this is going to be a really big deal. Because again, $1.5 billion per quarter in a quarter. Be specific. Iger's first order of business was to dismiss Mr. Daniel, who was in charge of that whole mess. I think Bob Iger has Pixar squarely in his sights. Pixar was Iger's first. Was it his first? Someone correct me on that. Acquisition of Disney. He brought in Pixar. He brought in Marvel. He brought in Lucas. He brought in Fox. He brought in those four. Yes, Pixar would have been first. That was what he wanted. That was kind of Bob Iger's big vision. He brought in these big, huge houses under the Disney umbrella. Big deal, for better or for worse. That is his legacy. Again, I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but that's a big deal. We can agree on that, right? Like, those are big deals that those are all Disney now. Under Chapek's leadership, Pixar released 5 films. They released Onward, they released Soul, Luca, Turning Red, and Lightyear, and they released them in that order. Onward was the only one that actually got a theatrical release. It released both Disney Plus and in theaters. I remember being a little bit shocked about that. We're getting a Pixar movie day and date, and it's not costing me anything. That was wild. Anyway, the rest of them went straight to Disney Plus. They did not get theatrical releases. There was no theatrical release for Soul, Luca, Turning Red, Lightyear. They weren't there. They all went straight to Disney Plus. And that was not an issue if people aren't in theaters anymore, because other Disney animated features were getting theatrical releases. Raya and the Last Dragon got a theatrical release. Encanto got a theatrical release. So it's just Pixar. That is super curious. I am really curious about that. But the other thing with those films is they're just not great. They're not great. I enjoyed Onward, Soul, and Luca. I think those were awesome films. I think they were a lot of fun to watch. We watched them with the family, but we've also only watched them once, and we've had no desire to watch them a second time. Encanto, I think I could quote it to you at this point. The Pixar movies we just don't want to watch again, and I thought Turning Red was just awful. It is bad in every way. But then again, I mean, it's a coming of age movie for girls, and right, not me. And I mean, I've got 2 sons, so maybe that's just I am as far from their target audience as you could possibly get. But Lightyear, however, was actually just bad. I watch a lot of YouTube channels like Honest Trailers and Pitch Meeting. I love those guys. So much fun. And most of the time, they take a movie that's fun, that they clearly kind of enjoyed, and they're making fun of it, and kind of is like joshing around with friends, right? Like you're just ribbing them and making fun of the parts that didn't make any sense. Lots of plot convenience, those type of things. For Turning Red, it sounded like they were just telling the truth about the movie, and the tone was very different from both of them, even. So that was weird. And yeah, the target audience problem with Turning Red. Does a target audience problem exist for any other Pixar film that exists? I brought them up here, actually. I've got a list. Let me share my screen again here and go through some of these. That's a terrible spot. That's in a worse spot. Goodness sake. All right, I have a widescreen monitor. It doesn't come up real well, but there we go. Like, look at some of the things on this list that we're seeing here. This is wild. So you've got Toy Story, you've got Bugs Life, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Cars, Ratatouille, Wall-E, Up, Brave, Inside Out, Finding Dory, Coco. Those are the films that Pixar's made. Do they have a target audience issue? Pixar's target audience used to be everybody. And now it is not. That's interesting. I don't think Pixar has the broad appeal. Whether the movies are good or bad is I think a different argument that's still worth having. But they don't have the broad appeal that almost everyone in their entire history has had. Maybe I've just got some rose-colored glasses on. I can't tell, but it seems like there's a lot of self-inflicted wounds there. Speaking of self-inflicted wounds, Dave alluded to this a little bit, and I want to go back to your comment. I have not forgotten. You mentioned bring back Magical Express and included in the price. Let's see. Thank you guys for throwing your comments in here. Really appreciate all of those. Self-inflicted wounds. Like I said, Dave mentioned bringing back the Magical Express. And there's a lot of other things that used to be free that aren't anymore, and that they used to offer that they don't offer anymore. A lot of these things were permanent, guys. We will not get the Magical Express back. I don't think that's going to happen because that contract has expired, and now Mears has its own set of contracts with the airport, with the space, with the leasing. They have all of their branding and everything up. I don't think we're getting that back. I think that was a permanent hit. The Disney stores are gone. They're not coming back. That's a permanent hit. Magic Band's getting rolled up into the price again. Well, now we're all at Magic Band Plus, and those guys are costing $50. Some limited editions are costing $80 for a Magic Band Plus. Consider that for a second. When the Magic Bands, were $15, it's easier to roll them into the price. But $50 to $80, we're not getting the free Magic Bands back. I think that's a permanent loss, right? Like the Imagineering talent that left, we lost nearly. That was I listed almost 100 years of experience in 3 people left under Chapek, plus everybody else that went, and the morale that went. Like that's a permanent wound, right? Those Imagineers are not coming back, and I'm sure that Imagineering is happy that they have a creative like Iger instead of Bob Chapek, but the glass house is shattered. They can try to put it back together, but man, that stone got cast, and we have some permanent losses to deal with. So. Those are Iger's challenges to hit and try to patch up. So he has a lot of not just financial damages from things like the $1.5 billion quarterly loss, but a lot of brand damage. That's what I've been mostly clamoring about, is the brand damage that Disney is doing. I love Disney. My wife and I both love Disney, love going to Disney, love visiting the Disney parks, bring back part of our childhood because we were there as kids so often, and it's just this magical place that holds these great memories. But on the path that it was on under Chapek, the parks were getting priced out. Guys, my next set of trips are not at Disney. We're talking SeaWorld and Legoland and Knott's Berry Farm and a lot of those places with our family over the next year or two. We're not talking a Disney vacation. That's weird for me, right? We still want to help you guys do it because it is a magical place and it's awesome. But as far as an annual place, guys, I was crunching the numbers. I could go visit Hong Kong Disneyland, including the flights, for cheaper than I could go to Disneyland, and it's a state away. That's insane of what you're doing for that. There's too many other opportunities that are too good to pass up to not try them out. Brand damage. If I'm not taking my kids to Disney all the time, my kids are not going to have those amazing childhood memories of going all the time. And when they get in my position, they're not going to have that nostalgia. And Disney has a permanent brand damage issue right now that's developing long term that Iger needs to fix. And he does. I know his focus is mainly on the financials and the movies, and they should be. But you can't just let that go. I think that's a really big deal. And man, that's a weird thing to say, but we still love Disney. I am going to thoroughly enjoy my next Disney trip, but I'm not going to miss out on other experiences as often as I would be willing to under the previous regime. So, what do you expect to see? I know that some of these things are coming through the chat. Let's see. We have Everything Disney Family saying we usually do Disney 4 times a year, and next year we have nothing on the books as of right now. And Bugs it's not going to be 4, right? Yeah, we're in the same boat, Dave. I can't spell either. My autocorrect is so awful. We will let Lauren watch Turning Red. Won't. Yeah, and that's really interesting because, well, anyway, yeah, Pixar quality needs to get improved. So. But yeah, let me know what you guys expect to see. What is your wish list of changes, realistic or not? Because sometimes the unrealistic ones are fun. But what do you actually expect to see? So I want to know. We've been showing you a lot of what to expect in the parks lately. Here on this channel, we're showing you views from inside of the parks, from both our Disneyland and our Disney World trip, and what the planning it took to get there to help you guys just think about some of the things that you need to consider and kind of help you navigate. We've gone through more than a few direct messages as well, trying to help out with that. But you're going to see a lot more specific planning stuff coming soon from this channel. I'm hoping around the new year to actually start going through and giving planning ideas and prices. Disney vacations for every budget and other theme parks too. Because Universal is just knocking it out of the park, and there's a lot of other great places to go. So we want to give you ideas and planning steps for each one and show you what to do weekly, maybe even. So that would be really cool. So stick around for that. The reason why I'm going to do it after the New Year's because I'm working on a big, huge website overhaul that's going to give you a whole bunch of new planning tips and tools that you'll have at your disposal, which I think you will really like and really find useful. Take advantage of that. So, guys, what I'm saying is help me out. Like a video, share this out to your family and friends who are thinking about Disney. Share out the channel, let them know all of this information is here. And it's not just me. Other people do a lot of great stuff. We like to share them out as well, right? So I'm just thinking, how many channels have we shouted out just on this video? We do that all the time. I do not want to be internet famous. I want to help you and your family have a great experience. That's my goal. So subscribe to the channel, share it out. Hopefully we get this ball rolling and make your planning for your Disney trip absolutely magical. Thank you guys so much for being here. We really appreciate you. Oh, I'm still on the small screen. That's terrible. You're still looking at Pixar movies. Hi. Nice to see you again. Thank you guys so much for being here. We really appreciate all of you. Again, we've got Megan G still here in the chat and everything Disney family. I know that Journey Awaits was here. Mike Beachman may still be still hanging around. Minnie Carty's here. Love Pugs hanging out, and so many other. I missed a name. Lori Jean Carlson, thank you, was here. I know we'll catch you all on a replay as well, and we'll try to clip some of this together so that you can get the pertinent information without having to dig for it, because this is a lot longer than our videos usually are. I try to sit for 15 minutes. This was not that, but it's a big deal, and I think you had to go through kind of the history in order to understand what to expect next. But we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Thanks so much for being here. Dave says, I think Steve needs to buy the Sanctum Sanctorum, and we have a build in the live stream. Everything Disney family got the Sanctum Sanctorum Lego set, and is trying to figure out how to put it on video for you guys. They have an incredible video. They have an incredible Lego room. Make sure you check out our friends at Everything Disney Family. Subscribe to them. We're racing our way to 1K. Ooh, racing our way to 1K. Dave, we need a logo. Anyway, he's winning. He's beating me. He's in the 500s. Are you in the 600s? I need to check. Oh my gosh, where are you at? You are in the 600s. I'm still at 478. I'm going up by digits, and you're going up by hundreds. Wow, that is awesome. Good for you guys. Anyway, he's beating me, so help me out. We'll keep doing cool stuff together. We actually have a collab that we've got on the books for when we both reach 1K. So, get us both there. We'll hang out. But yeah, thanks so guys. Hope you have an amazing Thanksgiving. Hope you have a wonderful set of holidays, whether that includes Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, anything in between, New Year's, whatever it is that you're celebrating. Do it with your family, do it with your friends, do it in style, and have a blast and a safe time. Get those designated drivers. Can I say that? Get those designated drivers now. So, be safe. Have all kinds of fun. We love you guys.